Hey there, friends. This is Dave from Loot Saga. I got Brent with me, and we are doing an Electro Ride review video for you today. After playing the indie game, just freshly released on July 10th-ish, we got our hands on it, and we got some latest updates with it. So we want to give you the most updated review that we can, and that's why we're a couple days short here from its actual release date. So Brent, if you want to take us into the game, I will get our viewers set up.
Yep, I've got it up.
Give them a nice preview of what this game looks like and a good explanation of what we've seen so far.
The modes are still the same as far as time between our last video. So still last man standing and time attack for split screen, which is still localized only. Quick race has the time attack, last man, and ghost mode. And then our story mode here. I've gone through Warsaw and Varna, and I'm just about to finish up Prague. Move on to East Berlin, and then we'll hit Moscow.
Very cool, very cool. So with Electro Ride, we've got a list of good and things that we put together in the review. And we definitely had a few more things before when it came to the game, but we had kind of like a pre-release copy, so we were able to shore up some of those thoughts in this version of the review. So let's start with the good. If you want to get us into a race, we have now on the good side specs on cars and visuals. We can start with that. For being
Go ahead.
No, you first. You first.
Yeah, the stats was a great addition. That was missing before, but that's there now. Even though it seems like this guy here is a little less than that guy, I've been killing it with him, so I'm gonna pick this one and keep her moving.
Yeah, I mean, you've been setting the top race records for almost every race in this game. I mean, it's only been out a couple days, but
Yeah, I spent some time on that earlier, going through Warsaw and Varna, setting the times.
yeah, no, I remember seeing that, and there's at least 10 people on those boards now, so you are doing well, I can tell.
Doing well.
So back to the game's visuals, it looks great for one guy putting this whole game together out of Eastern Europe, Sylvester Osick. The game looks fantastic, and he made from my understanding, made all of these models, made all the car models, made all the tracks, created all the handling. I guess I can move to the second point that the handling is quite good.
Yeah, it changes a lot with each car.
And there's variety there, and now the stats, so when we didn't see the stats previously, but we definitely felt the variety with the cars that we had opened up. So now seeing the stats and just reinforcing that there is differences between these cars, that's awesome.
Yes.
Exactly what we would want from an arcade racer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the tracks are also on our good side. They look good, they race well, there's enough variety. There's about 20 tracks in the game and about 20 some cars in the game. You're doing pretty good here. This is oh, nice boost pickup at the end. That was very solid. So this is the end of a story mode race, right? This like section of race where you're he's coming for you.
No.
For you.
Okay.
Oh no, that was
all right.
it.
That's right. There's plenty of time.
Oh, it's 4 laps.
Yeah.
I thought it was a short one. So it's like beat the boss, and when you beat the boss here, you get a car. So let's hope Brent wins this race.
Right.
By the end of it here, and I can just continue going over what we thought was good about this game, as you can see on screen. What we have good, I guess, we covered the visuals. The handling is good. The music is electro synth. We have that going in the background a little bit. So definitely tune in a little deeper if you wanted to catch a little of that. But it's electro synth, so it's your choice on if you want to listen to it. The UI looks good.
Section looks awesome. Like the city setup, that was cool. This is the first time I'm playing this track. So the
Gotcha.
visuals were all fresh, and that looked awesome.
Yeah, absolutely every track has their own unique elements, and they all look great. The cars all look great. They're all city tracks, so they're not going to get your, like mountainous or anything. Wow, he is aggressive around some of those corners.
Right? Yeah, it's all part of it.
And it is predominantly
Oh
Eastern
crap!
European cars from an era long forgotten. In the story mode, we can't show you anything about the story mode's cutscenes because that's still coming at a very early update to the game. We spoke with Sylvester, and there's a few things he's working in a little bit early in the launch of the game. It is out now, you can purchase it. And the story cutscenes are something that are going to be coming in. The story's about 2 to 3 hours long. It's about, from my understanding, 28 some races, so it's not really a focus of the game. So it's nice to have those elements. You're really trying to catch up here.
Yeah.
You got time. You got time. Take these corners the way I know you can. So like I like the way that the cars ahead of you can take your boost.
Yeah, and it does come back. I would be too close for it to come back
Sure.
where I am now, but it doesn't take too long for that. So, sometimes you can kind of, oh, nice, give him that little tap.
Right.
I think I've knocked him off the map a sec.
Or even just get in front of somebody, like right in front of them, and then all of a sudden they're not catching that boost anymore.
Right.
So that's
And
a nice
honestly, sometimes like see this pink one, so like I'm gonna pick it up just so like he can't, even though I'm already pink.
element. Right. That's
I just knew that was the one I wanted to hit, so I just went ahead and did it.
right, and screwing up like someone following the exact line that you have. So right.
Right.
So I was saying like the game is featuring Eastern European cities and tracks, so Warsaw, Prague, Berlin, featuring 1960s and 70s and ish. I'm gonna say ish cars. So they don't have any like ABS. Like it's a very arcadey racer. So for everything
Yes.
it's doing really well. And as you can see from the good side, so let's get into some of those questionable things that we have. And there were more questionable things with our early version of the game, but a lot of those things like the story cutscenes and specs on cars were already answered in subsequent updates from our review copy. And so like right now we're really down to like Steam Remote Play together really is the only thing that could make this game really shine, because we're in the Corona times. It's not really as realistic. You'll have friends coming in over because it does have a split screen, but it would be just a much more rounded out experience if we had the Steam Remote Play and possibility, because we just don't have the servers, and I can understand from like solo and indie side, maintaining servers is like very expensive, and it would just take away from, there we go, it would take away
Here we
from
go.
the production of the game itself for solo dev. So yeah, with the
Fantastic clips.
with the head-to-head, we didn't see quite the crashes that we normally see in like the 12-person races. We see
Right.
there's a
3, 4, 5, 6. I think there was a story mode earlier with 7, and like the entire front line just like pushed like 5 dudes right off the track, including myself. It was insane for that to happen, but crashes are amazing.
the crashes are hilarious, exactly. So like with the amount of cars, and it's a color, and they do well. The crashes look fantastic. There's a really easy reset feature, so it's not like arduous at all. It just kind of is part of the game. The AI plays well, so we put that on our good side. The AI is variant and plays well against the difficulties set so far in the game.
Yeah, I mean that was on medium, and that was pushing me. You can see I set the fastest time by almost 2 seconds. So that was a big change as well, because hard was kind of easy before, and now medium is a challenge, regardless of how well you perform. So that's a great change. It's good to see him react to how your race is going, and not just slamming into the same corners every race.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so we're seeing We're seeing the choose your next car screen. That's a sweet. Both those cars look sweet.
Ooh, man, what do I want here?
That first one is my favorite.
This one's definitely got the best stats.
Oh, does it? Okay, I wasn't even looking at the stats. Oh wow, yeah.
But I mean, again, the races that I've been doing it with, basically like a tier 1 car, and now I'm going up to, 3 here. So it'll be
Rabbit.
interesting to see how each of these stats kind of changes and which cars we can, figure out are
You gotta get the rabbit.
are going to be the quickest. I don't know. I kind of like this guy though, man. Little hatchy. I don't know. The rabbit
hatchback in
Rabbit's
Poland.
cool.
Rabbit's pretty cool. But also the front car is pretty cool too.
That one's nice too. A little bit different. It's got a little less acceleration, a little more max, a little more steering.
Great light setup.
Ooh,
but yeah, so
man.
that's Electro Ride. So with the good in mind, which we're recapping handling and steering, visuals, music, the tracks, the UI, the leaderboard access is all right. There is leaderboard that gives you a good reason to replay these games. On the side, not necessarily negatives, but we're talking about like more questionable, like not necessarily bad things, but not fully complete. In our view, there could be better leaderboard access. So not something we didn't really talk about is like you have to go to each specific track to go look at the leaderboard. There's not like a menu, like on the main menu, there's not like a leaderboard access. It took a moment to find that. And it seems like a pretty big focus of the game are the leaderboards, so like a more accessible place. But that's really minor on the list. More higher on the list would be like the Steam Remote Play. That would be a lot more desirable in this case here with an arcade racer such as this, where it's fun to actually play with your friends. There's not a ton of modes. It's basically time trial and like head to head. And like the face off
and the knockout.
Right.
Last place gets kicked out each lap. Ghost mode is pretty good for trying to set down a time, kind of use it as your time attack. There are still opponents in it, but I'm pretty sure you can you can just take them out if you want, and after your first lap, it starts giving you a ghost of your best time. So that actually functions pretty well. I've done that a few times in some of these times that I've set.
So yeah, so with all of that in mind, we give this game an 8.5 out of 10. It's an indie game out of a solo dev that puts a lot of work in here, a lot of cars, 20 plus cars, 20 variations and tracks and variations. There's a story mode, there's an arcade mode, the remote play. See, and I say 8.5 given that the remote play does get figured out, because that was a conversation we had prior to the release of the game, was like, what can we expect? And that was on the list. And as we're seeing Sylvester add features in the early couple days of the release of the game, I can venture to guess that that's still on his list. It's just a little bit more of a complicated thing to figure out. So that's what we're thinking. Like as it stands is an indie game, solo dev effort, price to value ratio. If we can get remote play out the door, this is definitely a great game. Great to play with our friends, and a lot of like fun room time. You probably won't spend much more than 5-ish hours playing this game to unlock a lot of it. So when we're looking at the price to value ratio, the remote play really is important to give you the value of the game there. And at Loot Saga, we do try to keep in mind the price to value ratio. That is definitely on our stuff, our radar here with our games. With indies, it's a little different of a ratio. With AAAs, it'd be a little different. And this is our indie list here on our Indieplex. One of the first reviews of the Indieplex.
The Indieplex.
Cool. So thanks for tuning in, checking out Electro Ride review. I hope you enjoyed the information we were able to give you and the visuals we were able to provide. Tune in next time for another review and to check out some of our gameplay share videos where we just kind of chat about what we're playing. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you like the video. Throw us a comment if there's any indie game out there that you guys are thinking or have been playing and been really enjoying. We'd love to tune in and check those things out and put up any formal reviews and totally endorse the games that you guys are playing, because I think Electro Ride is a fun game to play. I've just been following this for a little while, and I just love the way that one person could really pull this whole thing together.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun game. It's challenging, something you can pop in and out of. Very, very enjoyable, and it's happy to see he's continuing to work on it, and maybe we'll get something in the future as well.
Right. I'd be curious to see what he's got next, and we'll have to check in with him and see, if he's got any ideas and how the release went. We'll have to check in with him, and if you follow us on Loot Saga on Twitter, you'll be able to see that kind of correspondence and stuff, because we do a lot of interactions, a lot of indie dev community on Twitter. I mean, we're talking about 10,000+ indie devs communicating and interacting on Twitter on a daily basis. So give us a follow on Twitter at Loot Saga, and we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.